Earth-sized planet with one Y-shaped landmass surrounded by ocean. Comparatively close to its star and with frequent storms, this planet is a tropical one, whose solar cycle results in 2 distinct seasons. In this video, we'll be seeing multiple animals and a few biomes. Firstly, we start in the shallow Grand Arch Gardens, named after the species of giant coral-like organisms. This creature grows to such size by filter feeding debris out of the water. Grand arches play a major part in shaping the landscape of the seabed by acting as a buffer against currents. As a result, these gardens have large deposits of nutrients, since there's nothing to blow it all away. Many animals have figured out how to exploit this concentration of resources, both permanent residents in the garden and visitors. One such species is the lethargic sifting wafter. These simple animals spend most of their life filter feeding off of detritus in the sand. However, when summer comes and the sea lines shrink dramatically, surface temperatures rise, therefore forcing less hardy life forms to seek out deeper waters, sifting wafters enter breeding season. During this period, the females become even more lethargic, signaling the production of one fist-sized egg sac. However, with this one final act, the mother-to-be perishes, all the sifting wafter's nutrients going into its descendants. Conversely, males enter a state of heightened action, competing to fertilize the eggs first. Despite their extreme efforts, each sac can be fathered by multiple individuals. Like their female counterparts, once they have mated, male sifting wafters die too. Each offspring will completely mature by this winter, just in time for other animals to return to the garden. As adult sifting wafters are covered in hard spines and are just big enough to be impossible to swallow whole, most creatures will leave them all alone, except for one particular beast. This lumpy entity is a spine crusher, capable of using its jaws to ground up all manner of food. While not too bright, they more than make up for it with their sheer population size, as well as their girth. In reality, these aliens are at the juvenile stage, hatching right when winter hits, already mostly developed. For the majority of their time in the garden, spine crushers will attempt to gather as much energy as possible for their migration into deeper waters, growing fatter and broader. However, this also leaves them tempting targets for other organisms, such as the swift and accurate dart droppers, a species of mesopredators who mostly hang around the surface, and as the name suggests, drop with sudden speed through the water, in order to peck out a lump of flesh from varying prey. This is why so many creatures have strange puckered scars. This particular dart dropper has just spotted an elongated beast. Thanks to the breathing holes which line its back, it has more than enough oxygen for this dive. By folding, this predator sinks like a stone. When it hits the target, 2 hooked appendages dig into the mass for a better grip, only for the long strand of mucus to suddenly retract. As it turns out, this elongated creature is actually the sneaky slithering farce, a colony of gelatinous animals who have joined together into a very dangerous predator. Moving slowly around the garden, these creatures attain sustenance through 2 means. Number 1, simply catching floating debris. Secondly, by using a long rope made out of the waste of the colony as bait. But now it's summertime again. Dart droppers surround their body in a thin but relatively durable membrane and bury themselves into the ground before going into hibernation. Spine crushers migrate into the open desks as well as slithering farces, and seemingly overnight, the gardens are deserted. Now it's time to meet the brave larders. These omnivores are out here scavenging for wrapped up dart droppers and any other food that can find. Using the limbs ringing their faces, these creatures shovel anything edible into their mouths, but you would be wrong to assume them mere mindless gluttons. With a complex and muscular maw, brave larders can simultaneously swallow and spit, leading to them rapidly sorting out dangerous or unsavory substances while consuming useful ones. Adding on to this, each hand is loaded with sensitive buds that detect potentially deadly material before it even enters the mouth. Brave larders are loners for the most part, but when females give birth, these mothers become extremely attached to their offspring, Children will likewise stay close to their parents, and for good reason. The world's dangerous for little larder, not just when it comes to finding food, but from predators including male brave larders. These individuals will actively seek out others' children and attempt to eliminate them from the gene pool. As a result, the mates they choose are intended to be as strong as possible. Over time, females with the best chances of protecting their young naturally had a genetic advantage, making them bigger than their male counterparts. So as long as the baby stays close to mommy, then they should be safe. Except for one very fast creature, the flying spear kite. Due to their strength, these bat-like animals can pick up things much bigger than themselves at a cost. While spear kites have evolved multiple ways of energy conservation, such as a lightweight frame, longer spoiler distance, and less flapping and more gliding, they still require large amounts of food, and therefore have evolved altruistic behavior. It's not uncommon to see two spear kites helping each other. Likewise, spear kites have a strong sense of paying debts. However, things aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Cannibalism is comparatively more common. If a spear kite finds another wounded or too disadvantaged to fight back, the stronger spear kite will gladly eat them. A behaviorally simpler life form would be the lethargic slab. Easy to mistake for some sort of alien plant, this organism is not. In fact, calling them fungi would be the most appropriate. Drawing nutrients directly from the ground, slabs grow fast quickly. This of course makes them tempting prey for other organisms. However, instead of trying to mitigate this, the reproductive cycle of the slab leans heavily on this fact. Capable of surviving the digestive tracts of other organisms, these fungoid life forms allow themselves to be consumed so that when the predators defecate, the chunks of flesh which are torn off regrow into new slabs, with the fertilizer to boot. The vast, deeper oceans of this planet are filled with life as well. We meet again with our old friend, the spine crusher, now fully grown and much bigger, having foregone their beaks in favor of a baleen filter. Though larger life forms are fairly rare, the oceans are filled with microbes, and besides parasites, no other creatures can harm them once fully matured. The chomper algae are one of these parasites. When under direct sunlight, they act like you would expect a photosynthesizer to. But without such a useful source of energy, chomper algae undergo a sudden transformation, becoming predatory creatures. They parasitize bigger life forms while feeding on detritus and similarly sized species. Yet another familiar animal that has also changed would be the slithering farce. Growing longer and more simple, this one we see before us has a particularly bad infestation of chomper algae. In order to prevent the parasite from spreading, the surrounding area covers the infected one with a thick layer of mucus-like substance. This slime lacks the necessary nutrients for the algae to reproduce. Furthermore, the main body will deny nutrients to the afflicted region and a way of amputating itself. Eventually, the infestation will eat away at the area it's located in and die off, ultimately sacrificing a mere part of the whole. Of course, most interactions with chomper algae don't end up with such dire results, seeing as the rest of the slithering farce's immune system is fairly competent. Titanic swarms of pulsating frills rove around the seas, feeding on small pieces of detritus, microorganisms, and occasionally the odd weakened member of the school. However, as you know, they are not alone in these waters. Predators of all types attempt to eat them. In order to defend themselves, frills utilize a genius strategy. By contracting and expanding color sacs in their skin, this display confuses, hopefully, predators. Such predators include the seal-esque interloping sacs, intelligent creatures capable of using tactics to incredible advantage over their prey. These animals are nonetheless confused by such displays, missing attacks and hitting each other. However, these creatures do have an advantage over other life forms due to a mixture of insulating fat, keeping both the heat in and intruding heat out, and special glands that secrete an organic sunscreen. Interloping sacs can choose to breed whenever they want, anywhere they want, and often do so when they have gotten fatter than usual. When summer becomes winter, some creatures migrate back into the gardens, while others stay out at sea. Thank you for coming on this journey with us, and even though we didn't see much of this planet, I hope you still enjoyed this video.